Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining today's webinar entitled Great Guest Experience with Limited Staff. We welcome you here today, myself in the Berlin office of SuitePad. I'm Emily, the Junior Marketing Manager here at SuitePad. I will be your host and moderator for this webinar. But first things first, let me briefly introduce our two other speakers. So first we have Jasmine Glück, who is representing hotelkit, and we also have Miltos Karatsimas representing SuitePad. Before I hand over to Jasmine to kick off the session, there's some more information to add. So this webinar would take about 45 minutes, so 30 to 35 for the presentation, and then the end for a Q&A session in case you have any questions. Feel free to ask any of your questions on the panel that you have here on the right side of your screen. You can also ask it during the Q&A session. That's no problem. We'll try to answer as many as possible. We will also be recording this webinar, so you will receive a recording of it at the end of the webinar, either today or tomorrow. I will be back later on for the Q&A session, but without further ado, I will send it to you now, Jasmine and Miltos, and have a great webinar, everybody.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you for the introduction, Emily. Let's jump right in. Obviously, I can assume your motivation. We'll briefly discuss a little bit about the current staff shortage that is globally. We'll discuss our tool hotelkit for the hotel operation, and then Miltos is going to speak about SuitePad as well, and we'll show you one of our practical use cases as well, one hotel that is using both and optimizing it as well. So let's look at industry challenges. I assume you're all attending because you are, there's a lack of staff in your hotel and your service delivery is unfortunately suffering. Or let's take it a step further, your colleagues are stretched and you're worried that they might not stick around. So let's look at some figures. So as you can see, there is a real staffing dilemma. There's so many unfilled positions, 1,200,000 just in Europe. And out of them, undeniable, UK is one of the main tourist hubs. It alone already has 130,000 open positions within the industry. We have a little bit of a red problem. So if we look at the next slide, there's a real turnover issue. We are supposedly the least engaged staff members of any industries. So we'll dissect the current challenges a little bit further in the next slide. So the challenges that we're having, obviously, Brexit, when we speak about the UK specifically, obviously, to be quite frank, it seems like per statistics, the job openings or the declining workforce actually dates back to 2016. With Brexit coming along, it really took a turn as lots of employees were not returning back to the UK simply because they were worried about their living status within the country. Undeniable, we have to speak about COVID-19, the certain business restrictions and closures that were forced upon us. Those two facts clearly forced former colleagues to leave the industry permanently. So some very good long-standing employees left us. Understandably, they have families to feed and bills to pay. And then overall, we seem to have a really unattractive image of working in hospitalities. The low work-life balance, a little pay, a lot of stress, the compensation, and of course the benefits. That is unfortunately what we're currently dealing with. So let's look at the status quo when it comes down to working in our industry. Unfortunately, what we're currently dealing with, that we have not the same caliber of applicants that we used to have. So we are sometimes forced to recruit rather unexperienced staff, hopefully with the right attitude. Low colleague engagement and retention, as we already discussed. Communication downfalls and language barriers. So it's a real challenge because we are all very much removed from each other. We are lesser people on the floor, so we're working in silos. We're not working as a team anymore. And from personal experience, the coordinators and dispatchers in most hotels were the first one to go during the pandemic. Cost and time of training of new employees that we hope that sticks around, goes a lot of effort for our HR teams to find somebody, and then for the HODs or teams to really get them ready. And of course, static, inefficient processes, they're really outdated. And last but not least, the increased guest expectations. People haven't been able to travel for 2 years, so they are keen and excited to travel. We're not ready for them though. So what are we gonna do? As our HR teams are obviously working really, really hard to find talent, we focus on digitalization in our industry at the moment to really take away the distraction and the white noise so our colleagues can focus on what's in front of them. So let's jump into how we digitalize our industry. Back in 2016, 2017, I want to say digitalization was something that was nice to have. Faced with these challenges that we just went over, it's a must-have in order for you to maintain your service level or to move the needle to really serve your clients or guests. And that's really not relevant for any hotel size. So if you have a large operation with a higher frequency, many more different teams, or if you have a smaller hotel where your team members have a larger scope of responsibility, both hotel types can really benefit from using our tool. And we have this fantastic partnership with SuitePad, where we master internal communication and our integration with SuitePad, where they can really communicate directly with the guest. And the effort is, of course, that there is one centralized platform that the teams are working on. So no different WhatsApps, there's no hot sauce, there's no emails, etc. Everything happens on one platform, no multiple passwords to remember, no different inboxes to check. Obviously, all of that is an effort to increase productivity and innovation. Just cut out those little tasks that can really add up to a lot of time savings. We also have to adapt to this new normal. Of course, we're all a little annoyed by this phrase, but that's what we're dealing with. We're also oftentimes recruiting a new generation, a different age group, a different backgrounds. So they have different motivations that we need to adapt to. Smooth and instant information exchange, very straightforward and so necessary. And of course, we'll go back to the whole colleague engagement and promotion of team spirit. Because what the colleagues want right now is to feel a purpose and they want to focus on work and they don't want the distraction. It really takes away from that. Again, let's go down to speak about hotelkit in particular. As mentioned, we are the one-stop shop for your entire hotel operation. So meaning we're really meant to replace your chats, we're supposed to replace your WhatsApp messages, your emails and calls. It's all supposed to happen on this platform. And the idea is, of course, that we are a little bit more holistic. So if you think about your other hotel solutions, if it's, no cross, if it's, hot sauce or whatever it is, they cover the service optimization part, as we do as well. But we look at the hotel operation a little bit more holistically. So we want to make all information that's relevant for your colleagues available to them. So as you see, the handbook, so all the information that is stored in your operation, the communication that's key to have a great service delivery, everybody's in the know, and of course, collaboration, all about team building. When we go to the next slide, we'll drill down a little bit further on the handbook. Obviously, as I mentioned, it's all the information that's stored and all the SOPs and all the emergency procedure or training manuals that can be uploaded. But you can take it that far that you can even upload city information, concierge information, anything that would help a front desk agent in a situation where there is no concierge available. Like I said, we try to make it easy and help ourselves in situations where we simply are a little bit time restrained. Information is always supported with photos and videos. So again, visual aids has more than 1,000 words. So if you're giving instructions on how to do a setup of a breakfast restaurant setup, or if you send a picture, I can promise you the outcome will be vastly different if you try to explain it or if you send a picture along with it. So any function within hotelkit, you're always able to send a short video or picture along with it. Accessible anywhere, anytime, any place, on the go with the easy search function. So again, it's another easy thing that we can support our teams with, that they simply don't have to go through pages and pages of manuals to go to a certain location if it's the back office or a shared drive. to have it available on their mobile app to simply retrieve the information by simply typing in the keyword. So this is, of course, major time saving, and of course, it helps the colleague engagement as well. When we look at communication, it has to be instant, of course, and it has to be directed in a focused manner. So you are able that you can send communication to either a colleague, a department, or to a group. All communication can either be made public, which is recommended for anything operational, and non-public for anything a little bit more sensitive. So if it's anything with HR or maybe your leadership team, you would make it not public. The effort to make everything public is, of course, key when it comes down to operational matters. And that's simply because none of what engineering or front office or housekeeping does is really a secret. The more information is at the front office's fingertips, the better they can serve the guests. Put yourself in the role of a front office agent or an instant service agent who receives calls about things that they have zero involvement in, but they're supposed to have the answer to. HotelKit does make it available because everything is completely transparent, and you can also help people accountable for messages read or not read. So additionally, you can share, you can like, you can comment on any kind of communication to obviously start a discussion, to ask a question, or just, again, to make sure everybody's in the know and be able to deliver the best service possible. When we head to the next slide, we'll briefly talk about structured task and checklist. So oftentimes we have those good old binders where we log our checklists back, and if there is an issue, we have to go back days and sometimes weeks. With doing the checklist digitally, will not only able to help you to keep track of the checklist, it will also help accountability in a sense that as a general manager or maybe a manager, you don't have to continuously follow up on how your team is tracking. This is not only annoying for the general manager to continuously having to check, but also for the colleagues because they feel like they might have been a little bit micromanaged. So again, within HotelKit, you can simply click on any task or checklist, see what the status is, and take the necessary action. Do you need to give your team a hand and make sure they meet the deadline, or are they tracking fine and you can, let them do their thing? The additional great thing is also that you can create templates and create optimization. So if you think about any kind of checklist, such as an audit, if it's a quality audit, a safety and security audit, or your preventative maintenance, these have to be done during periodic times. And oftentimes you would have to remind yourself in the beginning of the month, the beginning of the quarter, that you have to do these certain tasks. If you enter it in HotelKit and add a periodic repetition on it, the system will trigger those tasks for you. So a lot of managing from a chief engineer's perspective or a housekeeping manager's perspective falls off because you can rely on the system to do the job for you. So you can focus on whatever is in front of you, any midterm or long-term project. It supports the overall workflow in your operation. And last but not least, traceability is of course key. That's the danger with sometimes your work orders or your messages or your tasks, that you simply send them to colleagues and you just hope for the best that it's happening. You hope that they're taking care of it. You're hoping they see the message on time. Within HotelKit, you have complete transparency of what's happening. You can check if something is in progress. You can check if something is completed. You can check if there's an additional problem that an issue cannot be completed. So imagine a guest leaves the hotel in the morning and gives a work order, returns back at 9 p.m. The front desk oftentimes just has to follow up if they can ask about this issue again. Within HotelKit, they have complete transparency and say, Mr. XYZ, I can see the engineering team went into the room at midday. It's taken care of. Please let us know if there's anything else. Can you imagine how empowering this is for any line level staff to simply be able to give that information without having to make multiple calls or ask or promise a follow-up or whatever it is? The system is just so transparent. And I'm sure you can imagine how all these things will overall help. We spoke about efficiencies, but I'm sure you can see how all these things together really make the daily lives of your team easier. I want to say that obviously our team is our biggest asset, and obviously the focus on colleague engagement has been in everybody's center of attention at the moment. But I can promise you, the easier you make their daily life, it's much more valued than, a team outing or a team lunch, etc. Simply listening to them and making their life easier will make them enjoy coming to work, will make them embrace the systems put into place. With our tool, you can really create a really fun and engaging onboarding checklist. Onboarding is something very dry and boring. Most of the time as a newbie, you sit somewhere in the back office and read manuals for days. It has to be done. You have to learn the status quo in this hotel. But with hotelkit, you can move your colleague already on the platform. They can start using the platform, they can see notification, they get a sense of what the operation is like. Plus, you can make nice quizzes out of it. You can, make a little scavenger hunts out of it through NFC technology. You can get the team member to really feel a part of the team already. Additionally, we also have a little bit of a social stream that we included in hotelkit. So if you want to really nurture your colleague engagement, you have the options to really celebrate your colleagues' successes. So if it's a great guest feedback that you have received that you want to share with the entire team to celebrate, if it's a promotion, a colleague birthday, a team outing, whatever it is, you can post those pictures and have your team have fun with it. Again, oftentimes we get so carried away what's in front of us. These little moments really do make the difference for our employees. Perfect. So as you see, everything we cover in hotelkit is really about internal communications, because when you have your ducks in a row within the hotel, meaning you have your processes optimized and defined and your communication is clear, you can really deliver a better guest experience. I now hand the mic to Miltas, who is, again, as I mentioned, a great partner of hotelkit, and it really touches on to the internal communication, now taking it to the guest experience. Go ahead, Miltas.
Thank you very much, Yasmin. Great presentation. Once again, I realize how important hotelkit is for hoteliers and how beneficial is. Your services are absolutely great. I really love the product. Um, but before we start, I would like to call Emily and help us out. Do a small poll, trying to engage you guys. We will ask you a question. It's going to be a multiple choice question, and then we'll see the answers. We'll try to discuss the answers so it can be a little bit more engaged. The whole presentation, make the presentation a little bit more engaging. Emily?
Of course, I will send out the poll now. So you should be seeing it soon on your screen. So the question for you, the audience, is how does the SuitePad team communicate with the guests? And you have using an app as the first option, and then via the TV in the room as the second option, or they use the tablets, or you think we do not have anything in place. So I will give you a couple more seconds or a minute to answer. I can see already some.
Let me make a small correction here. It's not what the SuitePad team is doing, but how the team of the hotel currently communicates with the guests. So if you're working in a hotel at the moment, or if you're a hotel owner, what in which way you're communicating with your guests? Are you using an app? Are you doing something via the TVs? Do you have tablets already? You're not doing anything to engage with your guests, or you still have that paper-based collateral? That's the question. So sorry, a small mistake, but it's my fault. Sorry.
No problem, no problem. I can close the poll now and share the results, so you can also see it on your screen right now.
Interesting. So let's discuss a little bit the answers, and then we move on to the making a small presentation about SuitePad. So using an app, I see 25% is using an app. I was expecting a lower number, to be honest, but still there are hotels out there that are using apps. An app is a great tool, or at least it used to be a great tool in the hospitality industry. I would say 10 years ago, maybe a little bit, maybe 20 years ago. The huge disadvantage that we have with apps is that people do not download them anymore on their personal mobile phones. So the download rate globally is around 15%. So that means that you're actually missing 85% of your clientele. And that's a huge issue because you're not engaging with the majority of your guests. Um, it's really difficult to download an app anymore on your personal phone because you need to find it, you need to install it, you need to set the notifications, then you don't need it again, you need to uninstall it. And we see less and less people downloading apps on their personal phones. That's why apps are not popular as they used to be. As far as the TV in the room, I'm glad that no one is using it. It's not a bad tool, but the content is static, so it doesn't create a dynamic environment. You only show content, photos, pictures, and offers on the TV room, but the guest is not able to engage. So it's really hard for them to book something via the TV remote control. It's not a two-way communication. You're only showing stuff, but then your guests will actually have to pick up the phone and order something via the telephone. That's not the digital way of doing it. Um, I will skip the tablets for now because TreatPad is, we are actually believe in tablets. We see that the engagement is really, really high, and especially with the customized presentations that we do for our customers, then we have huge engagement. Um, as far as those guys that voted that they're not using anything in place, I would say that since we're living in a digital world and digitalization is the solution, as Yasmin said before, it's really, really crucial to use technology in the hotels. We see less and less people avoiding not avoiding, but we see that if you do things in a digital way, then you have more engagement. People are isolated in their rooms, especially during COVID times. We saw that people were staying in the room. They were not willing to dine in the restaurant or going into the breakfast hall. A lot of in-room service orders, and still we don't see people engaging and communicating with your staff and employees. No, let's not and also we have a huge staff shortage issue. I will present SuitePad in a live demo because I would like to show you how exactly we work. So if I will give me a second if I can do that here. This is how the suite, I mean, we have tablets in the rooms. You know that this is how SuitePad works. We place tablets in the rooms. We have a customized presentation for each hotel. And via a customized presentation, the guest is able to do a lot of things from the tablet. They can order room service. They can order a spa treatment. They can book a restaurant table. They can book a tour. All paper-based material and collateral that you have in the room, we simply digitize them. It's more hygienic, it's more eco-friendly, and it looks nicer. But let me try to share my screen here, and I will show you exactly how it looks like. Yeah. So this is a demo hotel. This is what a guest sees when they check the tablet. We can have different languages, and let's click for now English, and we are redirected into the presentation. Everything you see here is fully customized. We create and build the presentations according to the needs of our customers. There are a lot of options, a lot of tiles, but as I said again, we fully customize it, so we build it according to the needs of our partners. I'm going to only show you the important stuff here. So for example, hotel information. What do we have here? These are all the basic information for your guests. A nice message from the hotel, and then A to Z, the guest directory. So we don't need to have paper material anymore. You're saving on printing costs. Everything is here in different languages. And if you want to change something, we have a very user-friendly cloud-based system where you can update it automatically in seconds. Of course, you can present the theme, the history of the hotel, and any basic information you want to give to your guests, we put them here. Also, we have information about coronavirus, but what is most important for me to show you is how you can make more money. So let's see how room service works. we have incorporated all the room service menu here on the left side. And let's say I'm staying in room 105 and I want to order something. I click in the category that I want. I see prices, photos, descriptions. I click the item that I want to order. It is added in my cart, and I can also get a bottle of wine with it. And then I can easily check out, and this is the summary of my shopping cart. This is what I ordered. This is how much I will pay. I can also leave a message if I want. And then if I click continue, the hotel instantly gets a notification that says room 105 has ordered room service, and this is the items that they want. Straightforward, very easy, without having to make a phone call to the reception, asking for availability, asking for which is available, and then waiting for the order to be confirmed. Everything is confirmed in seconds if you order via the tablet. Now, with the same way that you show that shopping category, we're going to create the same format for all the revenue streams that the hotel has. Transfers, tours, rent a cars, everything that you sell and upsell to your guests, we're going to include it here in order for you to have a nice return on investment. Let's see, for example, the spa treatments. Again, we have all options here on the left. Let's see the therapies. If I like this one, I click it, I get a pop-up message with more information. This is how much it costs. This is how long it lasts, small description. We can even customize it a little bit more and ask your guests, do you want to schedule it now, or do you want to schedule the treatment for later? And then by clicking continue, again, you get a message. I guess now there's a different person that will receive the message that says room 105 has, or they have a request for a spa treatment for tomorrow. We do other things as well. I'm again showing you the most important things. Late checkout, we're giving your guests all options, and that's the most important thing. We need to save time from the reception, so all information should be included in the tablet, and that's a very nice way also to overcome the staff shortage that we see lately in the hotel industry. Feedback. Again, we just send a pop-up message. You can even pre-schedule all these pop-up messages and they appear automatically. This is an internal process. Very quickly, you know if something is not going well, you can save a bad experience and also a future bad review that will probably end up in TripAdvisor or Booking.com. Now, the tablet can also replace other appliances in the room. The tablet can also become a phone, as you see here, and that means that you don't need to have any more telephone devices. We can have internal calls via the tablet, room-to-room calls or room-to-reception calls, or even external calls if we connect with your PBX telephone system. Another device that we can replace is the TV remote control. And let's not forget that the TV remote control and the telephone are one of the dirtiest things in the room. It's really, really hard to disinfect all these buttons that these devices have. But with the tablet, which is way, way more easier and way easier to disinfect as well, you just swipe it. Then we can also replace the TV remote control, and you can control the TV from the tablet. Another cool feature that we have is the green option feature, which is one of our top selling features. We actually send a pop-up message to your guests asking them for ecological reasons and for social responsibility reasons if they want to skip room cleaning for the next day. And by doing that, you are saving actually cleaning costs. And let's not forget that it's a very, very nice way to overcome the staff shortage in the housekeeping department, where we see that, and we have lots of customers that are actually asking us to enable the green option in their hotels. Last but not least, the tablet works as a normal tablet, and your guests are able to surf the internet as if it was a normal tablet. We have lots of things. I have lots of things to show and share here, but because we don't have a lot of time, I will just scroll down and show you all the options that we have. If you have a loyalty club, if you have meetings, events, weddings, newspapers, even if you have a hotel shop, everything will be included here. Uh, and last thing I want to show you is that we have a very cool uh, dashboard, back office, cloud-based system actually, where you can access it from anywhere in the world, and you can check the statistics of the tablet's usage. It's not only that, we actually train you on the dashboard. You can see the menu here on the left, and you have 100% access in changing everything. So it's not only that you can check the statistics and you can see which item is most popular, which item has the most page views, how much money you made per category or per item that you're selling. You can also look at the orders here. So you don't need to have an extra tablet or another terminal to check what's going on. You can have an open tab and you can see all orders that fall in per day, per hour, per room in our dashboard. From the push messaging function, you can do marketing activities and marketing campaigns. You can send pop-up messages to different rooms. You can send it to a specific set of rooms. For example, if you have a meeting going on, you can just inform the attendees that the venue has changed or the meeting hour has changed, or you can even send messages to the whole hotel. You can even pre-schedule them, and they automatically appear in the tablets on specific hours, and that will help you to promote your services. We have partners that have pre-scheduled messages. Every noon, they promote the restaurant. Every afternoon, happy hour in the bar, or they ask their guests for a quick feedback. Uh, Also, we provide the whole presentation and the whole installation into a web app. So we're also going to give you a web app. As I said before, it's not an app. The guest is not, your guests are not, it's not mandatory for them to download anything. It's just a QR code or a link. They can check your services. They can check your recommendations. It's also a pre-stay tool. It's not necessary to have it during stay, but you can even send it to your guests before they even arrive at the hotel. And that's a very cool feature that we give for free to our customers. I think, Emily, that's enough for now. I don't want to spend too much time here. So if we don't have anything to add, we can move into a Q&A.
Of course, but I think there's something left that Jasmine would like to add
Of
on the
course.
presentation. I'm not sure if
Yeah,
that was part of it.
if you
Yeah.
want to go to the key takeaways that we're having,
Of course. Let me
be lovely.
stop sharing this screen and move to the other screen. It's a little bit complicated, but I will be able to do it. Give me a second.
Mhm. So
Maybe you can start
obviously,
just until I manage to do it.
okay. So as we mentioned, there is a complete synergy between hotelkit and SuitePad. So we have an integration. So anything that the guest does out of the comfort of the guest room, if it's a spa request or whatsoever, this communication will be transferred through the hotelkit. So you don't necessarily have to have multiple tabs available. If the guest requests something, if it's a service or simply towels, etc., it will come through in hotelkit. And this is again really focusing on the one-stop shop. So we connected everything in one tool. The takeaways from our work together is, of course, the complete operational transparency that you're having. Not only is everything tracked that's done in SuitePad, everything that's done in hotelkit is tracked indefinitely as well. So just in case question arise at a later point, you can also always go back and see who did what at what time, and do we need to speak to that person to get clarification. Then, of course, the direct communication with either responsible colleagues or guests. So this really takes away this whole middleman. If it's a PBX operator that's taking any kind of concierge requests, or let's say a transport request, or if it's a colleague simply having to go to a supervisor to get them to follow up with a colleague. So again, all this unnecessary back and forth and white noise is completely taken out and saves a lot of time, but at the same time takes me to my next step. It just alleviates the frustration and the stress for colleagues. we should really empower them to really maximize their energy, to really focus on what's in front of them. If it's the guest or our front of the house colleagues, or for our engineers that are probably having repairs piles and piles up during the day. So again, they should be focusing on their actual jobs. It supports traceability and accountability. Anything we do is tracked. Anybody that's starting to take care of a task, you will know exactly the timing of it, and you know who's responsible for it, you know the status, etc., as I mentioned previously. And last but not least, Miltos already kind of went into it, is, as I mentioned, everything is tracked within hotelkit and SuitePad. So this tool, after having used it for weeks and months, you can really pull reports, and the data enables you to really make educated decisions, to really either refine the way you deliver your service, but also, of course, enhance the guest experience. So this data is crucial for your HODs or your quality team, or for your owners as well. They want to know what's happening and where can we, save some money here, refine your purchasing decisions, refine your staffing decisions, or generally how you move the needle in your operation. We actually have one mutual client that speaks very highly of us, so the Hotel Sacher. I think we have a slide from them as well. For anybody that is not familiar with the Hotel Sacher, it's probably the name in hospitality in Austria, if we are Austrian based, so we thought it's a great example. It's a 5-star luxury, ultra luxury hotel with 2 locations in Vienna and Salzburg. And I want to say they're a rather traditional hotel, but they were open to digitalization and utilized both of our tools. To quickly show you the feedback of the colleague at the Hotel Sacher, we'll go to the next slide. And the feedback was the following: thanks to SuitePad and hotelkit, our everyday work has changed fundamentally. Communication is now incredibly efficient, which means we can better serve our guests even faster and easier. A hotel operation without these tools is almost impossible to imagine. So again, it really alleviates the unnecessary jobs and unnecessary tasks for major time saving, which translates into money saving and overall profitability. So that is my last key sayings. I think we can open up the part for Q&A questions if anybody has any.
Yes, actually, we have a few. I think this would go to Miltos, the first one. So the question is, regarding reservation requests, to what systems is it possible to create an interface? If guests book a late checkout, the room needs to be set out of service and keycards need to be recreated to be valid until the new CO time. Is an interface with Opera possible?
Yeah. Very good question. So we are able to do an integration with a lot of PMS systems that are out there, like Opera, like Protel, like Muse, like Apaleo. So yes, we do direct and indirect integrations, and automatically with something is if there is an action via the tablet, then automatically the PMS is updated. That's one thing we can do, of course, but there are a lot of customers that select not to do an integration with any of the PMS systems and receive everything manually. So we can work in 3 ways: either the tablet as a standalone without an integration with the PMS or the POS of the hotel, because we also connect and integrate with the POS systems. And then we can have a partial PMS integration or even a direct complete PMS integration. So Opera, yes, it's one of the platforms that we integrate.
Great, thank you for your answer, Miltos. We have a few other questions as well from the audience. So one is, if everybody in the hotel is using the same platform, will I get hundreds of notifications a day for hotelkit?
Well, yeah. Okay, so that's the whole point. Everybody thinks because everybody is using the app, there will be obviously anything and everything you will be notified about. Obviously, the focus is direct communication. So this is a skill that's has to be learned. So as most of us are used to seeing different teams and making sure everybody is aware. The beauty of hotelkit is, since operational communication is supposed to be public anyway, you can retrieve all kinds of information regardless. So no need to CC God in the world. So really for the must-know people, they should get the communication directly sent to them, and everybody will be able to view it at their discretion by simply using the search function anyway.
Great, thank you, Jasmine. We have another question as well about data protection.
From our side, Sweden, and I know that Yasmin has also. Yasmin, you want to go first?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah.
So obviously with Europe being the strictest when it comes down to data protection, we of course looked at this matter very, very closely. HotelKit collaboration actually doesn't need a integration itself. We do have a specialized housekeeping tool that does need it, but information is filtered. So it's up to you if you enter the information yourself. HotelKit doesn't require it, so collaboration does not require for you to type in guest names or guest details specifically. So you can definitely do with guest room numbers without names, etc. So we're definitely GDPR certified in that case.
Yeah, we are also GDPR. SuitePad is a GDPR certified company. We don't keep. We take privacy very seriously. That's why the tablets do not have a camera in the room. They have a camera. That's who wants to have a camera in the room, and also everything that is recorded. I mean, if a guest checks something online, or if they log on their Facebook or Instagram, everything is wiped out automatically every 10 minutes. So every time someone wants to log in again, they have to put the credentials again in the system. So we don't keep anything in the tablet. And of course, the guest is not able to download anything via the tablet. So yeah, GDPR compliant as well.
Great, thank you for both of your answers. There is also a question, another one for Miltos. Do you integrate with a PMS?
Yes, that's the same question with the previous one, but let me make a small summary. We integrate with the most important PMS, the major important PMSs in the world, like Opera, like Protel, like Muse, Seahot, Apaleo, and a bunch of others. So we have a full list of PMS providers that we do integrate. And depending the hotel we change, we can have a direct or indirect integration, and it's up to the hotel to decide. From our side, we don't. There's no cost from our side actually.
Great. So I think we have one question left for the time as well. So the question is, we are a small hotel and manage okay. Why should we switch to a software solution?
Interesting. I think, Yasmin, that's for you.
Well, yes, of course. And I understand the concern. Obviously, you have a smaller team, they do all right. I previously mentioned it. So you have a large operation, the frequency is very high of requests, your people are, scattered all over the building. So yes, it oftentimes makes sense that these would move on to a platform. Smaller hotels are, let's say we're talking about a boutique hotel, 60 rooms. You do have lesser manpower on the ground, and it oftentimes requires for them to juggle around multiple tasks. So the front desk agent helps with calls and with luggage, etc. So they are already very busy, even though maybe not as many check-ins and check-outs. So the time of these people is very, very valuable because they have so many touch points with the guest in the way they can affect their experience. So there's nothing worse than checking in with the guest, with the front desk agent who has the phone ringing nonstop. People are waiting on the side to ask questions. So especially with these people who really see the guests multiple times throughout their day, these are the people that you want to take a little bit of workload away from to make it easier on them. Otherwise, they come across stressed, and they might actually be stressed, and they might actually look for other opportunities in the long run. So definitely very valuable for smaller boutique hotels or smaller operations as well.
Definitely. Thank you for all of your answers. If anyone would like to ask a last minute question, you can do so on the panel. Other than that, if there's nothing else, Jasmine and Miltos, I think this would be the end of the presentation. I'm
Thank you
checking
very
for
much, Emily.
questions, but yeah, there are no questions. So we can end it here. Thank you so much for both of these speakers. Thank you for the audience as well for checking in and coming to this webinar live. And we will see you most probably on our next webinar.
Thank
you,
you very much.
everybody.
Mhm.